The following is a paid advertisement. The views expressed are the sole responsibility of the advertiser.
I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate today is all about you buyers. How do I protect you? Do you look at the roof? Do you get an inspection, an appraisal? We are protecting buyers today. It's just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate.
Your debt does not have to control your life. You have the power to potentially lower or even eliminate your debt. I'm attorney Justin Clark. Call me now for a free consultation or visit youhavepower.com and take back control of your financial life.
Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Any questions that you have during the program, the phone number is right here on the screen, 407-205-0400. You want to start your house hunt this weekend, you will need to get pre-approved. Dallas Lehman is standing by to get you pre-approved at that very same phone number. Wonderful show lined up for you today, but first, the opening statement. Today is all about buying a house and what you need to look for. Do you need an appraisal? Do you need an inspection? What do you need to check out in your roof? And also, do you need a real estate agent by your side during that process? Great questions that we will answer by asking real questions. Every Saturday here on the program, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Excited to kick it off today with good friends, returning visitors. Ken Gilroy is an appraiser. Ken, how are you, sir? Welcome back to the show.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Vivian Lehman, a real estate broker. Hi, Vivian, welcome back.
Hello.
Let's get right to it then, Vivian. Let me start with you. I am looking at buying a house. We all know how to go to MLS or Realtor.com, Zillow, whatever. And when I see a house there, I like it, there's an agent attached to it.
Yeah.
Tough question that you probably don't want to answer. You probably get mad at me. Should I have my own agent helping me, or should I just go with the agent on that MLS listing?
So an agent in Florida can work with both parties, and you put up that Chinese wall, basically. But sometimes it's in your best interest to have your own agent. So
what does it cost me as a buyer to have my own agent?
Zero.
Yeah.
But this is one of the things that has been coming up right now. Buyers need to be aware. I am still getting paid, but I'm getting paid from the seller side.
Right. So it is a tough question. I generally lean on the side of I'd rather you have your own agent as a buyer because it's really not going to cost you anything. But then again, if you end up having an agent that has both sides of the deal, that's okay too. It is acceptable.
Yes, absolutely.
And you have a new program with Zillow, which I'm very impressed by. I'd like for you to tell me about it.
Okay, so Zillow, this is rolling out September 1.
Okay.
Zillow has picked a handful of agents per metro area, and we're actually going to be the first Florida cities to roll this out. And so basically, it gives me the opportunity to brand myself. And when I say brand myself, when you go to Zillow right now, you just see the home, and the home pops up with all the statistics, all the price and everything. But the agent that has it listed is somewhere down in the bottom. So this basically is going to give us the opportunity to brand ourselves. The photography is phenomenal. It's provided by Zillow, their group. So you have photography, you have a 3D home tour, you have the floor plans, you have an interactive map of going in and out of the house, whether it's first, second, or basement.
Yeah. Got it. Sounds good. And let's talk about the appraisal side of things for you buyers, because anyone that's getting a mortgage inevitably is going to need to get an appraisal, Ken. How important is that appraisal in regards to the entire transaction?
It's very important, as it's the final value is what they base the loan off of. So it's important to get it right.
Got it. So right now, over the last couple of years, we've seen a rapid increase in prices, right? How has that really affected the appraisals that have come in over the last couple of years?
It doesn't affect the process any bit. The process is still the same. We use a comparable sales analysis approach. So we get what's in the neighborhood and what's around and compare it to that. So, and if all the homes are going up at the same time, then it's okay.
Yeah, 2006, 2007, really. 2005 and 6, I think, were the biggest. The prices skyrocketed, obviously. And lending was just different back then. It just was. And people were buying houses that they simply couldn't afford. And I think there was a lot of pressure on appraisers to inflate those appraisals to really keep up with it. How has that process changed now that we're in this new skyrocketing market? How is it different now versus 2006?
Well, there's been laws put into effect and different programs and governmental process, such as a UAD format that most lenders get an appraisal, and everything has to be worded a certain way, and everything has to be explained. So there's more checks and balances within the lenders and the institutions. We're also a lot of management companies give us our work,
right.
So they have their own QC process. So it's being double checked and making sure everything's legitimate and that there's no fraud going on, which is important. That's what a lot of 2007 was about.
Yeah, the appraisal is obviously huge when you're getting a mortgage, Vivian, but you represent a lot of buyers as well. I think an inspection is also important for buyers. How important is an inspection for a buyer to actually make sure they get?
I think the inspection, you do get something called a seller's disclosure from the seller, but it's buyer beware.
Yeah.
You need to go in and have everything checked out so you feel comfortable that you're coming into something with, that you're not going to have to spend a lot of money on in the future.
It's a little bit of a nerve-wracking time for me for buyers because we have so many people paying cash. And a lot of these little extra things you have to do prior to closing are mandated by a mortgage company. But if you're paying cash, there's no mortgage company there to almost be big brother of the whole deal. So I think a cash buyer needs to be super observant as to what's going on.
And that's where a buyer's agent is important, because that buyer's agent is going to tell them, you should really tick off all these boxes before you go for the purchase.
Yeah. When you're working with a cash buyer, what do you tell them they need to do generally?
With a cash buyer, it's the inspection most importantly. And sometimes, I will even have a cash offer that's contingent on appraisal. And that's where, we can decide who to choose. And that's where I could go to someone like Ken and say, hey, I need an appraisal. My buyer wants to make sure he's not overpaying.
When you're working with the buyer and they're trying to determine what loan to use or whether to pay cash, how does that affect the
viability of the contract that I'm giving the seller?
You're talking about, well,
How does it make it more attractive, less attractive if I'm a buyer to pay cash, to get a mortgage? What's a more attractive offer?
cash.
Cash
all day
always,
long.
yeah. Are there
day
certain
long.
types of mortgages that are more attractive to sellers?
So sometimes FHA or VA loan sellers are like, oh, there's too many hoops to jump through. I don't want to fix anything in the house. And those two loan types require you to fix certain things.
Right.
So, sometimes you want to say, oh, it's a conventional loan. They're going to put a lot down. We're strong.
So a lot of people ask me right now if they should buy or not, and I always say I'm bullish on this market. I'm proving that right now I just made an offer on a house with you,
Yes.
just to show you that I believe that now is a good time to buy. Vivian Lehman,
Absolutely.
excellent job as
Thank
always.
you.
If you need an appraisal done, look, Ken is fantastic, been at it for almost 30 years. I don't think there's any better in the business when it comes to appraisal. Ken Gilroy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Another thing that you need to be very careful of when you're buying a house is that roof. How old is it? What should you look for in the roof as you have real estate continues?
Are you worried about your student loan payments? I don't blame you. The great news for you is now we have more options than ever. Go to our website, youhavepower.com, to find out what options may exist for you and your student loans.
As we continue the show for you buyers out there, what should you be looking out for? Obviously, when you're buying a house, the roof is a very important thing to understand before you go through with that closing. Who better to ask about the roof on your home than our good buddies from Universal Roof and Contracting? Justin's here, Cory's here. What's up, guys?
Thanks a lot. How you doing?
The roof, right? People are like, oh, it has a pool, it's got this, but they don't look at the roof. It's probably the most important thing to look for when you're buying a house.
Sure.
What should I look for in this roof before I buy a house?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do, obviously, was when was the roof put on? Is it the original roof? Has it been put on? Have there been previous repairs where permits have had to been pulled or anything like that? And then what type of roof is it? Is it a tile roof? Is it shingle? Is it metal? If it's a shingle roof, then there's a lot more replacements that are going to have to consistently happen throughout the life of that house. Tile roofs and metal roofs should last for a long time, but walk the rooms, look in the closets, look up in the ceilings, in the corner of the ceilings. If you're seeing brown spots, those kind of things, there could be compromises in the roof. It also could be AC condensation too, but a lot of times it's a roof issue. And then probably have someone climb around in the attic. It's not a fun job.
You've been there before.
I've been there many times.
I put Christmas ornaments out there like once a year. That's about it.
Yeah, this time of year getting an attic's not the best thing in the world, but we do it. We do it every day. But getting up there and just seeing what the condition of the decking is, the wood that's supporting the roof system, and if there's compromises or rotted wood or anything like that, then that's something that we want you to bring up.
Let's say I'm buying a house and it's a regular shingle roof. What is the lifespan really? I know there's no exact science here, and I'm afraid to ask the question.
Well, it's not an exact science, but you can trace back the life shelf or the shelf life of a roof to the workmanship of the quality how it was installed. I mean, typically right now, things have just evolved so much in the industry with the way shingles have been engineered lately. More and more technology. We're platinum contractors with Owens Corning. There's actually patented technology in these shingles that don't exist on any other roofing system. So when we're building roofs nowadays, I mean, it's going to outlive the insurance lifespan. They're going to make you change it probably before it's even time to change it, the way things are going. But typically 25, 30 years is what you can expect a full performing architectural roofing system to give you. And that's exactly what we install for you.
Yeah, if you have questions about your roof at all, the QR code is on the screen right now, or call the phone number on the screen. I'll connect you with Justin and Cory immediately with Universal Roof and Contracting. Now, on the flip side of things, when someone's thinking about selling their home, one of the biggest hurdles and one of the things that will kill a closing quicker than anything is a roof that needs work. Like the person that's buying it, their mortgage company will not lend to them if this roof is in bad shape. I tell a lot of people who are thinking about selling anytime in the near future to call you and let's really look at that roof, because a roof can be a major problem for someone trying to sell the house. You see it all the time.
I would say like 85% of the time, it's a contingency in the contract. We're in the middle of those transactions all the time, going and doing an inspection, discovering what the life of the roof has left on it, any problems. But I would say the majority of the time, if a house is on the market and the roof has some age on it, you're going to have to do something with the roof to make it sellable, essentially. And we can do that. And, we've talked about before, we have financing options and things like that, to try to keep you in a position where you don't have to negotiate prices or anything just to get a new roof on to make it a wholesome transaction.
Of course. And these guys work quickly, but seriously, if you're thinking about selling your house in the next 6 months to a year even, I think now is the time to really have them check out your roof, because even if you don't see visually any leaks, there might be things going on up there once Justin and Cory get up on the roof. And by the way, they're going to go to your house, unlike a lot of these roofing companies. Once you get up there, you see things that are a problem that we couldn't see.
Absolutely. It's why you call an expert to come do that. We work with so many realtors that, like you said, have to have the roof inspected before they can even really put the listing out there, just to see what they're dealing with. And we try to identify those things that are going to be, problematic, and we raise those issues first and foremost before, guys like you and stuff like put that house out there on the market. But yeah, we want to make sure you see exactly what's going on. And it could be something as a simple repair that's going to stand in the way, or if we're talking about a full replacement, we've actually designed something in our company to kind of expedite a service specifically for people trying to sell their home. Because we know if you're going to list it, you want to try to get showings, you want to try to get, everything, off the market as fast as you can. So the roofing timelines, with materials and backlogs and stuff like that can take, right now I think 4 to 6 weeks is a typical norm in the industry this time of year. But we've got a few ways to expedite and flex that to get people helped out sooner.
Got it. And it's super important, and it can kill a real estate deal, actually. And a lot of times in the contract, if the seller can't provide the roof that's actually functional, the deal can just be totally off at that point. And you've seen it happen, of course. What are some of the things, though, because someone who's selling their house, roof's 15, 20 years old, they're like, I don't see any leaking. There can be signs of damage up there. What do you normally see that makes you nervous on a roof?
Yeah, this would just go into our standard inspection. I mean, we have a a process that we follow. We walk the perimeter of the house with the homeowner. We're looking for, granule loss. We're looking for collateral damage, things that happen that's not roof related from storms, to kind of point to the fact that a storm did hit the house. Granule loss, shingles in the yard, soffit leaks, brown spots on the soffits and the eaves. And then we obviously get up on the roof. If we're feeling any sort of dips or soft decking, or we see wind-blown shingles where they're missing, torn, or creased, or hail impact marks, or just a really old brittle roof, that's lost all of its granules, we're going to come down with a game plan, and that game plan is going to be like, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but you have storm damage. This potentially is an insurance claim. Or, hey, you've got a really old roof, it's brittle, it's a high-risk roof, you're just going to need to, either finance or buy a new roof to get it moving forward. But I don't think it changes no matter if we're looking, at someone who's lived in a house and will continue to live there forever, or if it's somebody in the middle of a transaction. We're looking for the same thing.
The approach is the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone who is looking to buy, there's a big decision that they have to make oftentimes. It's tile versus shingle. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Man, to each their own.
Okay.
I mean, tile is going to serve the house probably a little longer. It all comes down to the type of underlayment that's installed when it comes to tile roofs. The concrete tile is going to last forever. So that underlayment is really your roofing system. So you want to make sure that is of perfect sound quality, and that, of course, that's the way we build it. Shingles, sometimes it's a little more decorative. You get more color range. It's not as much of an investment cost up front. So there's pros and cons to all different types of roofing material. Metal as well could be one of those things that you put on there as like a forever roofing system.
Right.
So we go through all of those. Everybody seems nowadays to have, they want a metal quote, they want a shingle quote.
Oh, really?
And sometimes if you do want tile, homes have to be engineered in a way to support the weight of a concrete tile roof. So even when some people are interested in that, the reality of them doing that has to kind of be taken off the table unless they're willing to re-engineer all the trusses and stuff like that.
And metal's good for napping, I heard, right?
There you go.
And actually, it's like you don't hear it.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Just a
but
rumor.
there is a bunch of new synthetic materials.
Yeah.
Like if you want a tile look on your house, there's stone-coated steel, shingles essentially that look just like tile. Gives it that slate look, or the barrel, Spanish S style, all that stuff. And it's actually a metal roof, and it's very light, and that weight-bearing, situation doesn't matter in that regard. So
the real way to find out is talk to the professionals. QR code right here on the screen for Universal Roof and Contracting. Corey, thank you as always. Justin, thank you, buddy.
Of course.
I wore the hat playing pickleball the other day. If you
Showed us.
follow me on social media, you'll see that always representing. Here's what we're going to do next, a quick break. When we return, a lot of people out there working with buyers can sometimes be the younger agents, but I've also noticed a lot of people have been asking me lately, Justin, should I get into the real estate business? I have a way to get you right in there as you have real estate continues.
You can be an agent that struggles to get ahead in the competitive real estate world, or you can learn from the best and achieve success. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com and sign up for the Jumpstart program. Get coaching tips and important tools that will help you jumpstart your real estate career. Sign up today and get 10% off your Jumpstart program when you use code word LEARN. Visit youhaveafutureinrealestate.com today and gain the real estate knowledge you need to succeed.
When it comes to your investment strategy, there's only one place that we turn. It is Fortress Wealth Group. The QR code for Fortress is right here on the screen, but even better yet, joined by its leader, John Ledford. John, how are you, sir? Good to see you.
I'm great. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today.
They kept tech is dead. Tech is dead. Is tech dead?
Tech is definitely not dead. Absolutely not. Tech is thriving and well.
It's the AI thing has just come out of nowhere. Huh? What's going on?
Crazy. The last 6 months, the creator of ChatGPT, OpenAI, they're now the fastest growing company in the world. More subscribers than anyone before them, and launched from zero to hundreds of millions of users almost overnight. And really, when you think about what goes into AI, and AI being commonplace, not just something we talk about, but something we use, The one thing AI thrives on are computer chips. And so you've got all these tech companies that are in the chip business that are now being propelled by this totally new type of industry and business out there.
And when you are strategizing about investment, having someone like you is so important to have the foresight as to what is going on in this world.
Well, you know, there are a lot of different ways to invest. And I have this conversation with clients and comrades, you know, quite often about what's the right way to invest. And the answer is there is no one right way to invest. And so we like to be a little bit agnostic in our strategy. So some passive, some active, some opportunistic. We think that's the best approach for most investors. And this would definitely fall into that opportunistic bucket. If you've got assets that are coming in, you have an asset sale, or you have money that's sitting on the sideline, what do you do with it? Well, you want to fill up your normal buckets first, but on the opportunistic side, I don't think there's any better place, you know, to be investing for someone who has long time frame, a lot of risk tolerance than potentially in artificial intelligence.
Great job, John. Keep up the good work. The best strategy that you can have right now is to call Fortress Wealth Group, hit the QR code on the screen. You will not be disappointed. That's what we did. Our show today is all about buyers. And the biggest question I've gotten over the last year, really, maybe even 2 years, is people who want to buy a house, they're tired of renting. They're tired of these astronomical rental rates. They're saying that they are getting priced out of the Orlando market. So what do you do as a buyer when you feel priced out? Prices up, interest rates up. What you do is you look in some other areas that are still close by. We love Ocala. We love Marion County. Elisha Lopez, Ocala Realty World. You know Ocala real estate more than anyone. When you compare the prices in Ocala, Marion County to Orlando, there's a huge difference. What do you see price-wise?
So we're at about 39.8% lower than Orange County.
39.8% lower, which is incredible. I mean, this can make all the difference in the world for a family who they know exactly what they make per week or per month, and they know what that mortgage payment's going to be. When you talk about the price differential, 30-something%, makes a big difference on that monthly payment, you know? Are you seeing people migrating up towards the Marion County area?
Oh, absolutely. Like every single day, the calls are just nonstop, and it's the 407 area code.
Wow. If you're looking for a home right now and you feel priced out of the immediate Orlando area, the QR code is on the screen. I tell you, Elisha would be happy to show you houses up in the Ocala and Marion County area. She'll show them to you this weekend if you want. Just download or take your phone out, scan the QR code, or call the phone number on the screen. She'll be happy to show you, put you on a list maybe even of houses up there. And it's not just people looking for primary homes though either. We're also talking about a great place to invest. What's the investment potential like in Ocala?
It's super hot, and investors are calling, wanting to be on a list, and you know, everybody wants a piece of the hot spot of what's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, if you're an investor, Elisha will be happy to put you on a list and send you things, or she has a big brokerage there too, so she has a lot of insight into pocket listings as well. So she can tell you even some listings that might be coming up on the market soon, even before they hit the MLS, to give you a head start on buying that dream home, or even buying an investment to flip or to rent out, because Airbnb is big up in the Ocala area. What makes Airbnb so special up there?
Once the World Equestrian Center had opened up, and it's a high-tech, indoor, outdoor, state-of-the-art horse training center, but it's totally bougie, like Disneyland for the equestrian community. It has brought a huge demographic to our area that we never experienced before. And there's not a lot of hotels. They're building resorts, but they can't build them as fast as the need. So Airbnb is the way to go, and especially if they have barn and stalls and accommodations for horses, those are super, super highly profitable.
Yeah, and I've been to the World Equestrian Center. My daughter rides horses, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful, but there's one hotel there, and it gets booked up almost every event. So while a lot of people think Disney World for investment for Airbnb, don't sleep on Ocala, because that whole World Equestrian Center is crazy up there, and I'm seeing a lot of people make money on investment real estate by renting it out as opposed to the Disney. And the competition's not as fierce up there for these Airbnb houses. So seriously, hit the QR code, hit the phone number. Elisha will be happy to talk to you about investing or buying your dream home. A lot of people also changing careers. Now, when I was up visiting you here recently at your brokerage, you've got an awesome classroom there, because you really take your education of your agents very, very, very seriously. But it's not just your agents. You're also doing a great service for people who are looking for a career change. What are you doing for those people thinking about becoming a real estate agent?
So for the last 8 years, I've been a licensed Florida real estate instructor.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Something you probably didn't know yet.
I did not. That's
Yeah.
news to me.
It
I
was
like it.
one of those things that just kind of fell into
Right.
and fell in love with. Like the first 2 students I had, because it was a really small class back then.
Yeah.
When he's still with us, Omar, and when his eyes lit up after I was explaining something, I was like, oh, that's the why. Like that's why teachers teach. And it's grown into this amazing school for our community. Real estate's awesome. It's usually never like the first thing that anyone ever gets into right after high school. Like I wish I did, but it happened later. And a career in real estate's always amazing as long as they do it right. So we teach them in the class to set them up for the state exam, but then also real life real estate in hopes that they'll come on with us. But either way, just to set them up right so they learn real estate the right way.
So you can still use the QR code for the same class if you'd like, and so really you're getting them prepped to take the exam, which can be a little bit difficult, huh? Tell me about the real estate exam.
So you have the class exam, and then you have to pass the state exam. Class exam is going to always be easier than the state, but what we do differently than most schools is we include all that state prep in our class. So we're teaching you kind of getting you prepared to go to the state exam, where most schools will separate all that. But we just want to get you in, get you out, get you licensed, and teach them quick so they could start making money quickly and change their lives.
I wonder what the pass percentage is on that state exam. Any idea? I don't know.
Like 50%.
Oh, really?
Usually,
So it's tough. You need to study.
That's the thing, though. The tough part's the study part. Like, everyone has a hard time just studying.
Good job, Elisha Lopez, Ocala Realty World. Thank you to our amazing WKMG-based crew, Dallas Lehman, standing by to get you pre-approved as well. Mostly, as always, thank you for joining me. I'll see you again next week for more You Have Real Estate. Hurricane season definitely upon us, and we all think, oh, we'll go to the grocery store and get some water bottles and some paper towels, but there's something important in your house right now that is very important when it comes to hurricane season, and that is your windows. Dan Brigman is here, Renewal by Andersen. Dan, you think about sitting around during a hurricane party or when you're getting through a hurricane with your family, playing a game or whatever you're doing, and when those winds really start to pick up, and you start hearing those windows vibrating, that gets scary. Why don't we think about windows when we think about hurricane prep?
You're absolutely right, Justin. It does get a little nerve-wracking. And one of the reasons we don't is because, you know, when we think about windows, we think about energy savings. We think about, hey, does the thing go up and down? Are there bugs coming in? Is there any water around my windows? And things like that. We don't think about that, you know, an 80, 90 mile an hour wind is enough wind to send something through that window. If you're sitting in there playing Monopoly, send it through the window, hit you, and end the story.
It's not a good thing at all. I put the QR code on the screen right now. Dan has a very special gift for you in preparation for hurricane season to help protect your family by changing and upgrading your windows. Dan, for these people at home, what are you going to do?
Well, I can tell you this, it will not happen again before hurricane season, which we're already in, right? And so it's 20% off of anything and everything that we sell. So that's our windows and our doors. And so get it while you can.
I appreciate it very much, Dan. Great to see you. You will appreciate Renewal by Andersen, I assure you that. This is free, by the way. Hit the QR code on the screen or call the phone number right now. Totally free consultation with their design consultant. Call Renewal by Andersen today.
The proceeding was a paid advertisement. The views expressed were the sole responsibility of the advertiser.